KCTV5's Betsy Webster has been out there today and tonight. So, Betsy, where are you? Tell us what's happening and what you're seeing right now.
Well, Ellen, I'm about a block west of where Abby is, with a view of the west edge of the park rather than the east edge. I'm going to let you see behind me here. I can tell you about 10 minutes ago, I think it was 10 minutes ago, maybe 15, I started hearing whistles of some sort. Saw people running towards the east side of the park, saw some of the police. There was some movement there, and then I saw bottles of liquid flying through the air. I mean, we didn't even have to use our zoom lens. I saw something flying in through the lights back there, and then when I took a look in the zoom lens of the camera, I could see a gallon of milk going. Police say people have been throwing multiple objects at them. And it was about 5 minutes later, which I guess about 5 minutes ago, that I heard the boom and they started deploying the tear gas. It's hard to tell how many people are down there, if it's more people than I saw earlier this evening or if they're just less spread out, so it looks like more people. But what I can tell you I have seen is that this is not a centrally organized protest, but an ad hoc gathering. And that means not everyone has the same approach or way of expressing themselves. That caused some understandable conflict earlier tonight, but there was also a sliver of hope. By 6 p.m., the crowd had grown to about 200 people. But before that, when there were less than 100, we got to witness some moments between the demonstrators and the police chief.
So we're trying to come here today to make sure that we're listening.
After addressing the media across the street, the mayor and chief went to those gathered for a dialogue. It was clear many were eager for that, but some felt it was disingenuous.
Let him speak.
A short while later, we saw this, a man arrested. Shouting directed us to it, so we didn't see what started it. We did see a verbal conflict between the man arrested and others telling him to shut up. Police say the man eventually shoved a protester who screamed, "Get him off of me," which they say is when they pulled him from the crowd.
Acting the way he was acting, I understand what they did, but I think the way you're acting, we're not going to get nothing out of it, you know? But I don't think that all of the men should not have taken him down.
People criticized the use of tear gas and pepper spray over the weekend. They demanded reform. People listened as the chief acknowledged it doesn't always go right.
When it doesn't go right, there should be discussion about it. There should be follow-up and there should be accountability. No one's opposed to that. No one in this uniform is opposed to that. Maybe the person that did it is, but everyone else is about the same thing. We all want our profession to look good and to be good for the people we serve.
Soon after, a woman handed him a shirt and another asked that he take a knee. Some dismissed it as just a photo op, but it was an uplifting moment for others. The chief participated in a moment of silence, holding a shirt that read, "I can't breathe." He told me afterwards it felt good, and he hopes it's a start.
We have much more together than we have different, and I think people need to see that.
Now here's something else I want you to see right now. Police are approaching that area. I just saw an officer walk by us wearing a gas mask. I believe they have arrested someone and have that person on the ground. I believe you can see that right now. Yes, they appear to be. I'm at a distance, and I'm going to ask my photographer, Kimo Hood, if he can see more than I can through his zoom lens. But it appears that there was a little bit of a struggle as they were trying to arrest someone. I see one officer with that person and another person standing by. One officer who actually has direct contact with the hands on the individual. And I'm sorry, now I'm having difficulty seeing because of the other two officers in the way. Do you see those things going through the air? Do you see that? Look at that. Those are people throwing things back at the police. And I don't know if those are fireworks or tear gas. Do you see that? You can see the smoke there. And this is on the west side of the park, the west side of J.C. Nichols. Now, Kimo, can you pan over that way a little bit? You can see some more people in the park setting off fireworks. The people in the park are on the right side of our frame. The police are on the left side of our frame. So you can see where the projectiles are coming from. Okay, now some people are running. I believe they set off the tear gas again. I'm just going to guess because that seems to be what has been sending people running. But you can see the protesters who are on the sidewalk. I don't even know whether to call protesters at this point, but you can see them running off into the park. But like I said, I clearly saw before this that there were objects being thrown at the police. Now, I can't tell whether these are fireworks or whether these are tear gas canisters being thrown back. I'm not super familiar with tear gas canisters and whether they create sparks. But I'll have to ask about that later. But I will say that there were sparking objects. I'm going to ask you guys to chime in here. Did you see that on camera?
No, we did, Betsy. You can see that they're clearly from our vantage point and the camera that we're getting these live pictures from, that is tear gas canisters that have been tossed out into the crowd. Some of those canisters have been tossed back toward police officers. So this situation has de-escalated here, and it's escalated, excuse me. And we just hope that everyone stays safe and there are no injuries here.
Yeah, you know, Betsy, and that's when,
right.
when Chemo had zoomed in on the arrest that was happening, everything had remained calm up until that point. And then something happened, and then he kind of panned off, and there was a commotion in the open space area, and then it just kind of escalated from there. So, yeah, I mean, you can obviously see the crowd has been dispersed, and police are still holding their line. But no, I mean, tear gas was certainly deployed in that situation there.
Okay.
And you wonder too, you know, tonight.
With his
I was going to say tonight, you know, a curfew was not instituted tonight, and we'd asked the mayor, do you think there should be a curfew? And he said, I don't think so, based on, you know, what I'm seeing right now. And, you know, obviously we've known in the past couple of nights, things have just escalated after around 8:30 or so.
One thing we have heard from protesters.
Right, Ellen, and I did just hear a loud. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought, Betsy.
Well, I appreciate you chiming in a little bit, because what I'm seeing is with the human eye, and what you're seeing is what our photographer Chemo Hood has with his camera, which is closer. But I did just hear a boom, and we can't see the group anymore because they've headed over towards the east. But I appreciate that. I do want to point out that yes, that curfew is not in place, but anytime people start throwing objects, it becomes an unlawful assembly, and at that point, really, a curfew is redundant. It's not significant anymore.
Yeah.
Reporting live on the plaza, Betsy Webster, KCTV 5 News.
And you know, Betsy, so we have another angle from Abby Dodge that was a little bit earlier, and so it looks like some of the folks who have moved from where you were behind you are kind of moving over towards where Abby Dodge and her crew are now. So you can see that the folks that were in Betsy's picture have kind of moved over here now. And you know, I mean, the tear gas, it's going to make you run. It's not a pleasant thing. And that's the purpose of it, but certainly things escalated tonight once again.
All right, Betsy Webster reporting live. Thank you, Betsy, for all your work, and Abby Dodge as well, and all of our photographers who are on the ground as well.